Hi, and welcome to Gritty and Green. I'm your host, Meredith Nutting. Throughout the spring and the summer, the podcast is a great place to learn about urban gardening. We have interviews with gardeners and urban agricultural experts. We have a little bit of a science lesson, and we answer your gardening questions. But right now, here, this space is a little different. We don't follow a daily or weekly schedule. No, we follow the phases of the moon in the ancient tradition of using the lunar cycle to guide us in the garden. Welcome to Gritty and Green by the Moon. You likely learned about the phases of the moon in elementary school, but when was the last time you really looked at the night sky? It's hard in the city. The tall buildings usually block the moon, and the light pollution outshines the stars. But throughout human history, all across the world, people use the moon and the stars for calendars, maps, omens, and even a guide to planting. Throughout the year, those big full moons were like a calendar, 13 of them, with names that reflected what was happening in the seasons. The summer strawberry moon, the late September harvest moon, they were important markers for what was happening seasonally, but that's not all. As the moon waxed into that big glowing orb and then waned into that dark nothingness, farmers used their phases to know when to plant, when to harvest, and when to rest in the garden. These techniques were used around the world, from North America to Northern Europe, South America to North Africa, and across Asia. Variations of using the moon's gravitational pull and energy from the light reflecting the sun were used in the garden. This isn't science, but it's thousands and thousands of years across the world of observation and tradition. So let's start with the moon. It's a round, rocky satellite that orbits the Earth as the Earth orbits the sun. As the moon goes around, the light from the sun hits its surface and reflects back to us on Earth. Throughout the month, the position of the moon and the Earth changes, so the amount of light that is reflected changes. And we see this as the moon's phases. We'll start with the darkness of the new moon. When the moon is directly between the sun and the Earth, all the light coming from the sun bounces right back, away from the Earth, so we can't see it, and the moon is invisible. This is a great time for stargazing. And because the moon is in line with the sun, it is thought that the pull on the Earth brings its water up into the surface of the soil. In the next weeks, the new moon waxes and becomes more and more visible. First as a tiny sliver of a crescent moon until eventually we can see half of its surface glowing in the sky. During this first quarter of the moon's phase, the light of the night sky is increasing, and as the moon moves out of alignment to the sun, the gravitational pull lessens. This is when we should be planting our leafy crops, like spinach, kale, and lettuce. After that quarter moon, the light reflecting off the moon increases and increases and increases until we see that big, beautiful glowing orb in the sky, the full moon. The sun and the moon are again moving into alignment, increasing the water in the soil's surface once more. This is the second quarter, and it's time to plant fruiting crops, tomatoes, cucumbers, and even big, beautiful cut flowers. The increasing light is beneficial for the leafy growth, and the water in the soil is meeting the roots near the surface. And then, of course, there's the full moon. Don't forget to look up and enjoy it. But also look around you and see what's going on in nature. What's blooming? What's coming into fruit? What are the animals doing? Each of these moons has a name that reflects what's happening seasonally. Another friend who loves the moon always suggests to name your own full moon based off of your personal observations. And I love that idea. So take a little time with the full moons. Maybe even give a little howl. I promise, it feels good. So moving on from the full moon, as it wanes, the light starts to decrease. And as the sun and the moon move out of alignment from each other, the gravitational pull on the Earth lessens and the water seeps deeper into the soil. Now is the time to plant your root crops. That's your beets and your carrots and your radishes and even your flowering bulbs. They don't really need a lot of light at this point, but they do benefit from being drawn down deeper into the soil to reach that water. Now, just like we had the first quarter moon, we have the third quarter moon. That will look like a half moon in the sky. And we enter the fourth and final phase of the moon cycle as it goes from that third quarter into a dark new moon. Now is not the time for planting. Now is the time for resting. Now is the time for observing. Now is the time for maybe weeding and picking off little pests from your plants. And then, of course, the cycle happens all over again. And because I love learning and teaching about science with my biology background, I will say that there has been no studies to show that planting by the cycles does improve your garden. But this is a very tricky thing to study, so I'm not surprised. Centuries and centuries of humans all around the entire world have been doing this, so there's likely something going on there that's beneficial. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So in this little series, I'm going to be popping in throughout the moon cycle to let you know when to plant, what to plant, when to harvest, when to rest in our gardens. I also have released my Gardening by the Moon journal. This is to help you track your progress as you garden by the moon in your garden. It also has like lots of space to take notes, to doodle, coloring pages if you're not a doodler, but also just need some mental space to just like relax in your garden. I want this journal to be a resource to help you garden, but also to help you enjoy your garden. You can get your own copy currently for free in the link in the bio. Also, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter so you never miss any gardening tips, and subscribe to Gritty and Green, the podcast. There's gonna be so much exciting stuff happening, and I don't want you to miss it. So like, subscribe, follow, tell your friends, and let's get growing.